I am so pleased to join you for this year's celebration of excellence and achievement among women. Congratulations to all of those being honored with awards and scholarships. I also offer my thanks to all of you for your inspirational achievements. Our awardees today, as well as those the awards are named for, show that we have a past, present, and future full of promise for women at the University of Iowa. This year, we are celebrating the 175th anniversary of the founding of the University of Iowa. We are very proud to be the first public university to admit women and men on an equal basis. And in fact, that equality is written into Iowa law. According to the Iowa Code, the university's, quote, object shall be to provide the best and most efficient means of imparting to men and women upon equal terms a liberal education and thorough knowledge of the different branches of literature and the arts and sciences with their varied applications, end quote. Beyond our equal education commitment, we have a legacy of excellence and achievement among women that goes deep into our history. In 1878, Phoebe Sudlow became the first female professor at the UI. She was an English teacher, and she came to us from Davenport. There, she had been the first woman to serve as the superintendent of public schools anywhere in the country, as well as the first woman to be elected president of the Iowa State Teachers Association. Mary Humphrey Haddock of Tipton was an 1875 UI law graduate and class valedictorian, and she was the first woman admitted to practice before the U.S. Circuit and District Courts after the Iowa Code was amended in 1873 to strike out white and male as classifications for admission to the bar. In the early 20th century, Elizabeth Halsey was a pioneering director of women's physical education at Iowa. She understood the importance of physical fitness to well-being, as well as the necessity of comparable physical education opportunities for both women and men. Myrtle Ketchel Adelot, the first dean of our College of Nursing from 1949 to 1957, raised the national stature of the College of Nursing at the same time that she expanded service to Iowans throughout continuing education programs for nurses across the state. Cecilia Foxley, a professor of educational psychology and counseling psychology, created the UI's first Office of Affirmative Action in 1972, and she served as its first director. In that role, she wrote an affirmative action plan that was the first of its kind among Big Ten institutions. Vice President for Academic Affairs, May Brodbeck, was an internationally distinguished scholar in the philosophy of science who came to the UI in 1974. She was a staunch advocate for women in the university, and she provided crucial financial and institutional support to establish the Women's Studies program. Christine Grant, the first and only women's athletic director at Iowa, who sadly passed away a few months ago, was nationally known as a pioneer in gender equality in athletics. Nancy Andreasen has pioneered today's incredible world of neuroimaging and brought us new understandings of schizophrenia as well as creativity. And Lan Samantha Chang, the renowned Iowa Writers Workshop first woman director, is currently receiving accolades for her newest novel, The Family Chow. With that storied history of women of high achievement at Iowa, I'm not surprised that I discovered such a community of talented, strong female scholars, creators, teachers, and leaders when I came here. I have found that the UI has a secret sauce that's comprised of 3 distinct strengths: comprehensive excellence, creativity, and community. Many of our peer institutions are weighted heavily towards certain disciplines, but we are fortunate to have a balanced portfolio of strengths. We are also known for fostering creativity, which is the engine of innovation across our disciplines. And finally, we are girded by a powerful sense of community on campus, within the Iowa City area, and with friends, alumni, and supporters throughout the country. Women across campus and throughout the community play essential, prominent roles in creating and advancing those strengths. As just one example, I'm really delighted and proud that more than half, 58% of our academic deans at Iowa are women. And according to a new report by the Women's Power Gap Initiative and the American Association of University Women, the UI is a leader among Research One universities in gender and leadership. In fact, in this 2022 study, we are ranked 4th in the nation among 130 research universities, and we are number 1 in the Big Ten. As our awards today demonstrate, the excellence and achievement among women at Iowa runs throughout our entire university community, not just in our leadership, but among many of our faculty, staff, and students. Of course, there's always work to do, and new gains need to be made. Among the strategic priorities for our campus, we are laser focused on student success, hiring and retaining exceptional faculty, fostering mental health and well-being for our community, and ensuring diversity, equity, and inclusion for our campus. Increasing our support for women across campus plays a crucial role in all of these priorities. Today's celebration shows us that our foundation is solid and our talent pool is deep. We have great strength to build on as we look forward to the next 175 years of excellence and achievement among women at the University of Iowa. Congratulations again to all of today's award winners and to all the women who contribute to our university's excellence and who inspire us to greater achievement. Iowa is a very special place, and I thank you for making it so.
Dr. Christine Grant, longtime faculty member and founding director of women's athletics at the University of Iowa, has been honored twice before at these celebrations of excellence. In 1998, she received the Jean Y. Jew Human Rights Award, and in 2001, the Distinguished Achievement Award for faculty. In addition, she's been acknowledged at these celebrations as an inspiration by others who have worked to advance the causes of women on campus. This includes the 4 swimmers being honored today with the Jean Jew Award, and the 4 field hockey players who sued Iowa Athletics for gender discrimination and received the Jean Jew Award in 2016. The extraordinary actions of these women athletes would never have been necessary when Chris was Women Athletic Director. Their brave actions are a legacy of Christine Grant, who passed away on December 31st last year. Chris was a fierce advocate and a charismatic leader in the fight for gender equity in sport and beyond. She had a clear vision for the future of women's sport and the energy to put in motion the structural changes to advance that vision. Her work changed the face of sport in the United States, and the University of Iowa is fortunate to have her representing us on the national stage. With her dear friends and co-conspirators, Peg Burke and Bonnie Slatton, she formed a power pack to work for gender equity on the national level and on this campus where they were faculty colleagues. All 3 have been duly honored at these celebrations of excellence. Chris grew up in Bo'ness, Scotland, active in many sports, but she particularly loved field hockey. After college, she moved to Canada, where her field hockey career flourished, and she was named the first coach of the Canadian national team. When she arrived at the University of Iowa in 1968 to pursue a PhD in physical education, women's programs were mostly intramural affairs. When teams ventured to other schools to play, often in playdays rather than competitive games, coaches and even players used their own cars to transport the teams. Often the players played in their gym suits or shared one set of uniforms with all other athletic teams. The coaches or players themselves did the laundry. The NCAA made it quite clear they had no interest in women's athletics, so in the early 1970s, women physical educators developed the Association for Intercollegiate Athletics for Women, the AIW, and created a structure for national championships. Chris was a key leader in the AIW movement. At the same time, Title IX was passed, requiring all high schools and colleges to offer equal educational opportunities for men and women. And Chris quickly saw that Title IX could be used by the AIW to challenge the inequity of women's sport at the national level. Christine Grant created women's athletics at Iowa. Of course, given the passage of Title IX, Iowa would have become some sort of athletic program for women. But without Chris's vision, that program would not have quickly become one of the premier women's programs in the country. Fortunately, Sandy Boyd was president of the university then, and he endorsed Chris's plan for a women's program separate from the men's program. The programs were not equal by any stretch of the imagination, particularly in terms of budget, but Chris was an athletic director, and when decisions that affected women's programs were under discussion at the conference and national levels, she was the one who cast Iowa's ballot. When she retired in 2000 after 26 years, the women's and men's programs were merged, and her position as director of women's athletics was replaced with an assistant director of athletics tasked with looking out for women's interests, but answerable to the male AD. Dr. Grant was equally influential as a faculty member at Iowa. She designed an athletic administration graduate program distinguished by its emphasis on critical thinking, ethical practice, and equitable principles. Her students benefited not just from their classes with Chris, but by the example of commitment, integrity, and action she embodied. There was no other program in the country like it, and there is still not one today. The men and women she mentored continue to influence athletic programs in the U.S. Amy Wilson, one of Chris's last doctoral students, is currently the director for inclusion at the NCAA, a move that made Chris particularly proud. She's been widely honored by many of the organizations who benefited from her leadership and example, such as the Women's Sport Foundation's Billie Jean King Award. She was honored, too, by those she battled with in the struggle to advance women's place in sport. Her longtime adversary, the NCAA, honored her in 2007 with the prestigious Gerald R. Ford Award for her advocacy for intercollegiate athletes. She was immensely proud that the University of Iowa's field hockey pitch is named for her, and among the honors that pleased her the most was having the Christine Grant Elementary School in North Liberty named in her honor. No portrait of Chris would be complete without mentioning what a delightful person she was. She had great personal charm, aided considerably by her inability to lose her Scottish brogue, and she loved to laugh. She was an empowering force to generations of students, coaches, and colleagues, and an unforgettable presence to anyone who came within her sphere of influence. We're proud to remember Christine Grant at this ceremony as we celebrate the excellence of other women on our campus, each working in our own way to make the world a more equitable place for all.
Hello, I'm Linda Stewart-Crone, Director at the Women's Resource and Action Center. The Margaret P. Benson Memorial Scholarship, created by a designated bequest, recognizes qualified women students who demonstrate financial need and are committed to gender equity issues affecting women and girls, diversity, and social activism. On behalf of the Women's Resource and Action Center, I'm delighted to recognize and reward this year's two outstanding recipients. Claire Player is a third-year undergraduate student studying international studies with a focus on development and gender, women's, and sexuality studies in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Claire's ability to draw from her own life experience and her involvement in numerous outside of the classroom service, work, and learning activities combine to make her a distinctive student who reflects and thinks deeply and explores critical questions. Her experience working for a local CSA using organic farming methods fueled her interest in global development. Her work for a 2020 presidential candidates campaign and her involvement with Black Lives Matter activism deepened both her understanding and critical analysis of politics. And her training and volunteer work as a victim advocate for RVAP expanded her knowledge and skills around sexual violence and its impact on survivors and communities. In her reference letter for the scholarship, a faculty member noted Claire's persistence, intellectual curiosity, academic abilities, organization, and focus, and a confidence that Claire will do great things in the world. We are proud to recognize her.
Hi, I'm Claire Player. I'm a third-year student in the International Studies and Gender Studies Department, and I'm pleased and honored to be the recipient of both the Kristen K. Lipke Memorial Scholarship and the Margaret P. Benson Memorial Scholarship this year. Chris Lipke was a student in the Gender Studies Department when her life took a sharp turn a month before her graduation, and she got in a serious car accident. And I'm humbled and honored to be able to carry on her legacy of commitment to women's issues. And the Margaret P. Benson Scholarship was provided on behalf of the Women's Resource and Action Center, whose mission is to empower and ensure equity of women within their communities. With the support of these donors, I in turn am supported in my goals of shifting food and agricultural paradigms to reflect and empower the key role that women have always played in food production and procurement. It's my belief that by recentering an ethics of reciprocity and care and how people relate to the land through agriculture, relationships between people will be healed and strengthened in turn and ensure equity for all genders within agriculture.
Dawn Thomas is pursuing her Master of Arts in Teaching in Secondary English Education and ESL certification in the College of Education. A first-generation college graduate, Dawn spent many years working with women experiencing homelessness, young mothers, and women's ministry before finishing her undergraduate degree, during which time she served on the MLK Week of Service Committee and as part of the planning committee for the Youth Summit. Upon her graduation, Dawn worked as the coordinator for the City of Iowa City's Teen Dynamics program, focusing on racially minoritized junior and senior high school students identifying as female, where she developed and facilitated a 6-week life skills course and led a twice-a-week after-school group for junior high students. Now, as a graduate student, she is active as a member of the College of Education's Anti-Racism Committee, the Teaching and Learning Department's Equity and Justice Committee, and she has served as an adjunct instructor for the Hawkeye Service Breaks Educational Justice course. The faculty writer of a letter of reference for Dawn praised Dawn's demonstrated ability to excel even in the face of adversity and the impact she is having in the College of Education as an emerging leader in the college's anti-racist efforts focused on preparing pre-service teachers to become culturally responsive teachers. Quote, "We are learning from her as much as I hope she will learn from us," the faculty member wrote, and continued, "Dawn has enormous potential as a secondary English teacher and has already demonstrated her ability to serve as a mentor, coach, and guide for other Black women students. We're delighted to recognize Dawn's accomplishments and all that she will continue to achieve in the future."
Hello, my name is Dawn Thomas. I am an MAT student in the Secondary English Education program with an ESL endorsement, and I'm honored to be the Women's Resource and Action Center's 2022 recipient of the Margaret P. Benson Memorial Scholarship. I dedicate this award to the many marginalized girls, past, present, and future, who continuously inspire me to become the best educator I can possibly be. Thank you to the Women's Resource and Action Center and the Margaret P. Benson Memorial Scholarship Committee. I pray that my efforts continue to honor Christ and the students for whom every effort holds in mind.
Hello, everyone. I'm Teresa Mangum, a professor in the Department of Gender, Women's, and Sexuality Studies at the University of Iowa. I'm delighted to be here today on behalf of my colleagues in GWIS to congratulate the outstanding group of students who've been awarded our 2022 scholarships. We begin with the Stephen Lynn Smith Memorial Scholarship for Social Justice. Stephen Lynn Smith, 1944 to 2009, was a 1963 graduate of Marian High School who came to the university to major in engineering. Perhaps influenced by the 1963 March on Washington, Stephen embraced the civil rights movement. He joined the local chapter of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and in 1964, he participated in the Freedom Summer, an effort to register African Americans in Mississippi to vote. This award in his honor provides up to 2 students with a $3,000 scholarship. This year, the award goes to 2 students. ORIETTE D'Angelo is from Caracas, Venezuela. She is a second-year doctoral student in Spanish and Portuguese and a graduate certificate student in Gender, Women's, and Sexuality Studies in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences and the Graduate College. The award also goes to Amara Nash from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, who is a second-year doctoral student in Educational Policy and Leadership Studies in the College of Education and the Graduate College. Congratulations.
Hola, I'm ORIETTE D'Angelo, a PhD candidate in Spanish at the Spanish and Portuguese department, and I'm very happy to receive the Stephen Lynn Smith Memorial Scholarship for Social Justice. I am interested in representations of marginalized individuals in literature, cinema, and visual arts. My research focuses on the representation of the disappeared in Argentina, Chile, Venezuela, and Mexico, and I incorporate gender perspective of violence against women into my research, especially in the context of political violence. Receiving this recognition is very important for me, and also for the often devalued art, culture, and literature I study, primarily groups of individuals who have been affected by social injustices and political violence. I am very grateful for this support, and thank you for highlighting the work I do.
Hi, I'm Amira Nash, a second-year PhD student in Educational Policy and Leadership Studies. I am excited to be one of the 2022 recipients of the Stephen Lynn Smith Scholarship for Social Justice. In addition to my doctoral studies, I began my work as the Associate Director of Partnerships and Programs in the Baker Teacher Leader Center here in the College of Education, where I'm working with school districts across Iowa to build student-to-teacher pipeline programs to help diversify Iowa's teacher workforce. I am really grateful for the interdisciplinary support of the Gender, Women's, and Sexuality Studies Department, and I would like to highlight a course I'm taking right now with Dr. Chris Ogren and thank her for offering this course, which is LGBTQ History and Education. This course has particularly helped me broaden my perspective in analyzing the importance of historical factors in studying marginalized groups beyond race and class, as well as the intersectionality of those identities, which is essential in my current work and my future research. Thank you.
The Ada Johnson Otilia Maria Fernandez Scholarship honors Ada Johnson, one of the first Black women students to graduate from the University of Iowa in 1912, and Otilia Maria Fernandez, one of the first Hispanic women graduates of the UI in 1924. This award provides a scholarship of $1,500. We are thrilled to offer this award this year to SHIMIN Park from Cheongju, South Korea. SHIMIN is a senior majoring in Gender, Women's, and Sexuality Studies and minoring in Sociology. Both of those degrees are in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences.
Hi, my name is SHIMIN Park. I'm a fourth-year undergrad student majoring in Gender, Women's, and Sexuality Studies with a minor in Sociology. I'm extremely thrilled and beyond grateful to be receiving the Ada Johnson Otilia Maria Fernandez Scholarship. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the Department of Gender, Women's, and Sexuality Studies for this generous gift. I owe so much to this department that I'd like to proudly call my institutional home for inspiring me to be the scholar who can turn unique identities into strength and for building me as a person who deeply cares about social justice. I'd especially like to thank Professor Caroline Redesky, who's been my mentor and the pillar of my studies even through tough times in the last couple of years, as well as Professor Jennifer Halett, whose knowledge and inclusive teaching continue to have profound impact on me. I'd also like to thank my family, friends, and all those who've supported me throughout my years in college. I wouldn't be accepting this award without all the women of color who have gone before me and made great achievements in higher education. It brings me so much hope to think about many more women of color students who will follow. This is a big honor, and I'd like to extend congratulations to the rest of this year's recipients. Thank you.
The Kristen K. Lipke Memorial Scholarship honors Chris Lipke, who was a University of Iowa undergraduate student 1 month away from graduating with a minor in women's studies when a serious car accident changed the course of her life. In her memory, the Lipke family has endowed a scholarship of $4,000 to be awarded to 2 undergraduate students. The 2022 award goes to Claire Player from Mount Vernon, Iowa, a junior majoring in gender, women's, and sexuality studies and international studies in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and to YASMINA SAHIR from Dyersville, Iowa, a 4th-year student majoring in social justice and criminology with a minor in philosophy and a certificate in human rights in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Yasmina Sahir. I'm a dual major in criminology and social justice with an emphasis in systemic accountability and reform. And I am so happy to have received the Kristen K. Lipke Memorial Scholarship. As a woman of color and the child of an immigrant to this country, I have had to work 3 jobs my entire college career, and the award that I've received for next year will ensure that I can focus on my work and personal growth as an activist and a scholar. And there are really no words to describe how much of a relief and a joy that is for me as I head into my 5th year. Thank you so much.
The Adele Kim Scholarship is made possible by a bequest from Adele Kim in honor of her brother S. Conrad Kim and her sister-in-law Hilda Kim. This $3,000 award goes to a graduate student each year. This year, the award goes to Mingming Liu from Jinsao, China. Mingming is a 2nd-year doctoral student in communication studies and is pursuing graduate certificates in both gender, women's, and sexuality studies and in the public digital humanities in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences and the Graduate College. Congratulations, Mingming.
Hi, I'm Mengmeng Liu, a 2nd-year PhD student in Communication Studies. I'm thrilled to receive the Adele Kim Scholarship. I want to thank my professors, colleagues, and friends and communities for their encouragement and support, and most importantly, all the brilliant conversations we had. You really poked my brain and it made me feel so supported and loved in a world filled with so much violence and oppression. My community gave me the warmth and energy to keep fighting the fight. I'm very proud to receive the recognition of my feminist activism and scholarship. I love what I do, and activist work, the research, and the community activities that I organize and participate in. I plan to use the fund to pay for the hefty access fee in journals when I publish my research, so that everyone can easily read my research for free. There are so many problems with the current system that we don't have the time to unpack here. I'm excited to continue to grow as a feminist scholar activist with my community. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this award.
Jane Weiss was a much admired assistant professor of sociology and women's studies at the UI, whose life was cut tragically short by a car accident. This $5,000 scholarship in her honor is awarded to a UI PhD candidate whose dissertation focuses on issues pertaining to women. This year, the award goes to Hannah Rochford from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, who is a fourth-year doctoral student in the Department of Health Management and Policy in the College of Public Health and the Graduate College. Congratulations to Hannah.
Hi, my name is Hannah Rochford. I'm a fourth-year PhD candidate in the College of Public Health's Department of Health Management and Policy. I'm delighted to have been selected as the 2022 recipient of the Jane A. Wise Memorial Dissertation Scholarship. This interdisciplinary support from the Gender, Women, and Sexuality Studies Department will elevate the recognition of sexual misconduct as a public health challenge and bring us closer to understanding how policy can be leveraged to maximize equity and minimize the risk for sexual harm in our campus communities.
All of us in the Department of Gender, Women's, and Sexuality Studies share our warmest congratulations. We are incredibly proud of our students and honored that they have chosen to work with us. Happiest congratulations. Good luck with the rest of the 2022 school year. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amy Lunderink, and I'm a proud University of Iowa graduate and former member of the Iowa swimming and diving team. To the Council on the Status of Women and the Women's Resource and Action Center, I thank you for the opportunities you have created for the achievements, activism, and effort of female leaders on this campus to be recognized at this year's celebration event. For this year's Jean Y. Jew Women's Rights Award, I would like to nominate my former teammates, Sage Olin-Salen, Alexa Puccini, Kelsey Drake, and Christina Kaufman. In my opinion, there is no one more worthy to receive an award named after a woman of such strong resolve, courage, and perseverance in the face of adversity as Jean Jew. In the fall of 2020, the University of Iowa Athletics Department announced that 4 teams would be cut the following year, citing budget losses from COVID as the primary cause. One of these cut programs was our women's swimming and diving team. This was not only a heartbreaking moment for our team and our university, but struck a chord across the state of Iowa for young female athletes who had dreams of swimming or diving at the University of Iowa. One Hawkeye swimmer who shared in that passionate dream was my teammate, Sage Olin-Salen. Following this announcement in August, Sage recruited several of her teammates to reach out to news agencies and other local outlets to spread the news about the program's removal and to express their concern that this was not in line with Title IX requirements. It was through these efforts that Sage and her teammates connected with an attorney to learn more about the implications of the team's removal to the university's compliance with Title IX. After weeks of research to build their case and support their cause for reinstating the program, these 4 girls filed a lawsuit against the university, charging our athletics department with failing to provide equal participation, equal treatment, and equal scholarship opportunities for female athletes at Iowa. Within this lawsuit, these 4 swimmers, along with a female rugby player and female wrestler, sought out an injunction to prevent the elimination of any women's sports until the University Athletic Department could prove that they were compliant with Title IX. The courage and resolve of these 4 women through the course of this lawsuit cannot be understated. To stand firm against the university's decision to remove this program in the name of women's rights and the preservation of Title IX uniquely aligns to the belief and boldness Jean Jew embodied in her own fight for what was right. Instead of simply wrapping up their athletic careers or making plans to transfer to other institutions, these 4 women fought to preserve the opportunity for all female athletes to compete in their sport at the collegiate level. While onlookers to the case directly mocked their efforts on social media or even on campus, their fire never diminished. In December 2020, the judge in the case of Olin-Salen versus the University of Iowa granted a court order requiring that the University of Iowa reinstate the women's swim and dive team and commit to future steps towards Title IX compliance, including the addition of more women's sports teams to the University of Iowa athletics roster in the coming years. This tremendous victory for female athletes at Iowa created tidal waves of conversation, discussion, and even the reinstatement of other female collegiate programs that had been removed during the pandemic. The national impact of this lawsuit proved for female athletes and all future female leaders in athletics that our voices matter. I like to think that the late Iowa Athletic Director, Dr. Christine Grant, a Title IX pioneer and previous honoree of this award, would be immensely proud of these women and their outstanding effort to improve the status of female athletes on our campus and at universities across the country. I am truly honored to have shared my years as a Hawkeye with Sage, Alexa, Kelsey, and Christina, and I thank you for your consideration in honoring them with this award.
It was my great pleasure to nominate my colleague and friend, Dr. Lorene Herwalt, for the May Broadbeck Distinguished Achievement Award for Faculty. In her 35 years as a faculty member at the University of Iowa, Dr. Herwalt has made a significant impact through her leadership, clinical service, research, and mentoring. Dr. Herwalt is an excellent physician. The Director of Infectious Diseases, Dr. Judy Street, wrote, Dr. Herwalt is a physician with an uncommon level of commitment to her patients. She routinely goes the extra mile to make the best decisions for people under her care. Dr. Herwalt also served as the hospital epidemiologist at the University of Iowa Hospital and Clinics for over 20 years. In that role, she skillfully guided the hospital response through various outbreaks. Dr. Herwalt is an international expert in three main fields of research. First, the prevention of Legionella infections caused by hospital water systems. Second, the prevention of infections after surgery. And third, improving the use of personal protective equipment among healthcare workers. Dr. Herwalt is now utilizing her experience in the prevention of surgical site infections and personal protective equipment optimization in a new large grant that she received. She's the principal investigator of a 5-year, $3.5 million grant from the CDC. Dr. Herwalt is also an excellent mentor and role model. One of her mentees, Dr. Showing Chang, wrote in her nomination letter that Dr. Herwalt has been my role model and mentor who always supports me and guides me through the difficulties in research and in personal life. She treated me as an important team member and trusted me in doing critical analytic tasks, even though I just began my research career. She's the best mentor I have ever had and has helped me thrive in my professional career. Another mentee, Brianna Wright, wrote, she has been an influential role model for me and other women in medicine. Through transparent communication and open discussions, she has ignited my passion for research, challenged me to improve upon my weaknesses, and provided me with resources to achieve my career goals. So in summary, Dr. Herwalt's unwavering commitment to her patients and mentees, as well as her pivotal research, makes her incredibly deserving of this award. Congratulations, Dr. Herwalt.
I would like to thank the 4 accomplished women who nominated me for the May Broadbeck Distinguished Achievement Award for Faculty. 3 of these women have been my mentees. I am especially delighted and honored to receive this award, given the inspirational and effective leader for whom it was named. When I was interviewing for a faculty position at the College of Medicine, I stayed at the Memorial Union. While there, I saw a poster that said, "Iowa, a place to grow." Indeed, the University of Iowa has been a great place for me to put down roots and to grow. The UI has provided me with the mentors I needed as a very green junior faculty member, with a collaborative environment that fostered my growth as a clinician and researcher, and with many developmental opportunities, including conferences, courses, and developmental leave. I certainly have benefited from Dr. Broadbeck's visionary leadership. I am also grateful for the many students, postdoctoral fellows, clinical fellows, and faculty that I've been privileged to mentor. They have enabled me to keep growing and flourishing here at Iowa. Being a mentor is one of the best aspects of my job, and I get great pleasure from watching my mentees develop their own successful careers.
The poster was correct. Iowa and the University of Iowa have been great places to grow. I am grateful for the opportunity to live and to work here and for this wonderful honor. Thank you.
The Susan C. Buckley Distinguished Achievement Award honors women that stand for excellent and have outstanding achievements. Dr. Deborah Wessels worked at the University of Iowa for 37 years. She was discovered by Emeritus Professor David Zoll in the Department of Biology. Dr. Wessels rapidly established herself as a highly regarded international researcher. She achieved this during times when, as Ruth Bader Ginsburg put it, the constitutional principle of the equal citizenship stature of men and women was far further from being exercised than it is today. Her research work focused on the understanding and four-dimensional analysis of how cells crawl and how cells communicate. In communication, she excelled herself. It enabled her to serve as a role model and mentor for countless students, many of them young women. Dr. Wessels is not only a strong advocate of human rights, but she also claims those rights as a serious, dedicated researcher and privately. She thereby set an example that encouraged and inspired other women to follow suit. Her words followed actions. Her outstanding performance became evident in her track record of more than 70 scientific publications. She engaged herself and her co-workers for the university and showed leadership as the director of the WCAG facility. That is how you become part of history here at Iowa. As her colleague for more than 15 years, it was only consequent to nominate Dr. Wessels for the Susan Buckley Women Achievement Award. Thank you.
First, I'd like to thank the committee for awarding me this great honor. It is indeed humbling to be associated with the past recipients of the Susan C. Buckley Distinguished Achievement Award, women who have done so much to champion the advancement of women at the University of Iowa and beyond. I would also like to express my gratitude to my children, Emmanuel and Victor, who were a constant source of inspiration during my 40-year career at the University of Iowa, and to Bob Warner, who has unconditionally lent his support to all my endeavors. Thanks to Daniel Lucia, Dr. Daniel Lucia, who took the time from his own busy life to nominate me, and to those who provided letters of support, student and former student Sidney Kelly and Michelle Livitz, MD, Dr. Jaron Geraci at Istanbul Technical University, Dr. Stephen Alexander from the University of Missouri at Columbia, and Dr. Paul Muley, former Associate Dean of Research and Development, as well as former chair of the Department of Mathematics. They and their letters are truly a treasure. Finally, I'd like to thank David R. Saul, my thesis advisor and PI, who gave me the creative space to develop my ideas and my research, taught me to rigorously prove and defend my scientific conclusions, as well as what life was like growing up in South Philly in what is now a bygone era. A highlight of my career was my leadership role in the development and application of four-dimensional high-speed image analysis systems that included custom software written by Dr. Edward Voss, also a graduate of the University of Iowa. Together, we generated the first 4D movies of living, crawling cells, while the software quantified some 40 parameters of cell motion. I had the opportunity to present our movies to audiences at meetings all over the world. I watched a room full of people, sometimes including Nobel laureates, don these paper red-blue glasses that I had passed around and watch them be wowed by our movies. These efforts led to a $1 million grant from the W.M. Keck Foundation to bring in scientists from around the world to take advantage of these technologies, which were available only here at Iowa. But most importantly, these innovations enabled us to identify defects in white blood cells of children with a debilitating rare disease, to characterize the unique characteristics of T cells infected with HIV from HIV patients, gave us new insights into how tumors grow and how breast cancer cells metastasize. During the course of all this work, I had the pleasure of mentoring many undergraduates whose energy and devotion to research was outstanding and whose work contributed to the success of these projects. When I look back on these exciting discoveries and these exciting times, I realize how very fortunate I was to have been associated with the University of Iowa, an institution committed to research and scholarship. I am especially grateful to the many women who went before me, their sacrifices and their courage, who made this day possible for me. Thank you very much.